Awaken to hair growth. Awaken to hair growth because there is possibility to get your hair back. Awaken to hair growth because we're not told that we're able to conquer and overcome alopecia. Awaken to hair growth because I want to be a positive light and beacon for you because I've healed my alopecia and now I help others do the same with different types of alopecia, men, women, children of all ages, of all races and ethnicities. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Alopecia Angel podcast. I am your host, Johanna Dahlman. Today's topic will be the 5 myths that surround hair loss. We all have myths in terms of what we believe, what's out there, what's on the internet, the misinformation, and I wanted to go ahead and clear up some of these things. But before I do, I just wanted to give a shout out to Melanie, who's currently in my program. She has thin hair and she has lots of hair loss, and over the course of the first 3 weeks she has seen a significant decrease in hair loss. And so she emailed me yesterday and I wanted to go ahead and give her a shout out and some kudos because she's doing the work, she's seeing the results, and this is exactly what happens. You know, you do the work and you see the results, and that's the beauty of this. I was showing on social media the other day that I was due in to get my highlights done, and my hair has been growing at 1 inch each month. It's a little darker. I've gotten it a little darker and things are progressing. And that's actually what leads me into my first myth. And the first myth is that you are too old and losing hair is just part of aging. And I want to say that's the biggest lie we've been told. And just because a bunch of people who are maybe over 35 or 40 or 45 or 50 or 55 do lose hair, that doesn't mean that has to be you. That doesn't mean that you have to be placed in this category. Does that make sense? Just because a percentage of people end up in a certain way at a certain age, that doesn't mean that has to be you. You can defy the odds. I'd like to believe that I've defied the odds, and so have all my clients, because we're taking a proactive approach towards healing hair loss, towards reversing naturally our hair loss, whether that's autoimmune, whether that's traction, whether that's telogen effluvium, diffuse, androgenic, whether that's female pattern baldness, whether that's scarring alopecia or other. You can defy the odds. I'm in my 40s and I'm growing my hair at 1 inch. If you were to do an internet search right now, you would see that quote unquote, the average hair growth for anyone at any age is just up to 1/2 inch. That's average. And the thing is, it's just like, I want to be above average. I want to be better than average. And you can too. This is open to everybody. We can all be better than average. We can all be above average. And just like in school, you had the people who were hovering around the C grade level or B's or D's. And I wanted to be an A. I always wanted and strove and strived for being an A student. And so again, just like in education, just like in health, just like in hair, we can always strive to be better. And the more we do, the better the results, regardless of the age. And going back to age, I have clients as young as 8 months old to 80 years old. 80 years old. And let me just say, it's 80 years young because they're choosing a better path. They're choosing a better way. And I know, just like that client who's 80 years old, or just like me at 40 something, we both want to depart the world, so to speak, with a full head of hair. And why not? That's a great goal to have. I want to be 80 and be 90 and be 100 years old with a full head of hair. Just because I get to 90 or 100 doesn't mean that I have to be bald. That's a choice. And so mark my words, you can defy the odds, and age does not play a part. So don't believe in the nonsense that people are telling you, because age does not play a part. So that's number 1. Myth number 1 is that you are too old or that hair loss is just part of the normal aging process. And it's not. Just like you can wither away and not have any muscles, you can also build muscles at 80. You can also build muscles at 70. You can also take up a new sport in your later years. And I say this also because I've pushed my grandma to be better, to explore new things. And I got to tell you, I've mentioned this in other podcast episodes before, but she didn't start any type of gym workout or any exercise regime until she was 75. That's when she actually found time to put herself first. was when she was 75. And that's when she started doing Pilates. She started taking up a gym membership. She started doing all these things. And this is just it. And we need to always push ourselves to do more, right? We have so much control of our health, mental, emotional, physical health. And so if we have that control, we got to exercise it. We really got to exercise that control and that power of doing more for ourselves, because I got to tell you, no one is coming to save you. No one can do for you what you can do for yourself. No one's going to do the push-ups for you. No one's going to walk around the block for you. No one's going to run the marathon for you. No one's going to bathe you, wash you, etc. And so the thing is, we need to do these things for ourselves as much as possible. And it's okay if you start at 75, like my grandma did, or it's okay if you start now and today, or if you started earlier. So the more you do for yourself, especially as we age, the better it is. But I will say it's never too late to get the hair growth that you want. Remember that. It's never too late to get the hair growth that you want. We can always change our habits, our diet, our lifestyles, our everything, so that we can see and garner the results that we're looking for. It's never too late. Age is nothing but a number, and it's a number of wisdom. It's not an age to think about like you're withering away like a prune. Just the opposite. You have so much wisdom, you have so much to share with the world, but on top of it, we also can do more for ourselves. There's so much to do, and it's endless. It really is. You know, you yourself are a master project, and this master project will take a lifetime in order for you to really finish the masterpiece, if that makes sense. So I hope that resonates with you. Myth number 2. It's been more than 10, 20, 30 plus years with hair loss. Therefore, it's too late for me to get the hair growth that I'm looking for. And this is also a big myth. It doesn't matter how much time has passed, whether it's been 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. You can always get your hair back. And I believe that because I've seen it in my clients who've, had the 20 years, the 30 years, the 40 years with hair loss, and now they're finally seeing hair growth. But again, it's about re-education, readjusting, and implementation. And once we get these 3 pieces down, then we can do what no one else has given us the power to do. And we're doing it ourselves. And that's the beauty of it. It's never too late to run that marathon. It's never too late to get your hair back. It's never too late to lose the weight. It's never too late to reverse your hair loss, even if it is autoimmune. It's never too late. Never too late. You decide. That's the beauty of all this. If you haven't understood all the podcast episodes and the sense of urgency, is that you decide when you want to start getting healthy. You decide when you want to start getting and seeing the hair growth that lasts, that's long term, that's forever, with a long-term strategy. You decide that. And for me, it's been an uphill battle. It was 4 years of struggle, and now no longer struggle. Now it's easy breezy. Now I'm growing an inch of hair on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, and bam, like I don't have to worry, be upset about it, post-COVID, partum, it doesn't matter. My hair is still here. Alopecia is nowhere to be found, and it won't. It's not gonna rear its head again. It's not gonna come back and haunt me because I dominate it. It's under control. And that's just it. I have full control of my health, and you have full control of your health. And this is how we're getting our hair growth. So understand that it can be 30 years, and we can decide to change our lives around. It can be 40 years, and we can decide to change our lives around for the better. It's never too late. As long as you have a heartbeat and a desire, it's never too late. Myth number 3. Doctors say autoimmune alopecia, scarring alopecia, and other types of alopecia or hair loss cannot be cured. And this is false. I believe it can be cured because I'm right here and I had the autoimmune alopecia. And yes, it was pretty severe, but at the same time, I was able to heal it and reverse it. And I see that in my clients too. And they're able not just to heal and reverse their autoimmune alopecia, but also other autoimmune diseases like Graves, like IBS, Crohn's, you name it, scleroderma, you name it, Hashimoto's. They are able to heal and reverse these autoimmune diseases. It's a big umbrella of over 100 different types of autoimmune diseases, and yet with a tailored approach, they're able to see and do for themselves more with the Hair and Heal program than what they've been obtaining and getting with conventional medicine. And this is huge because, again, you can heal, and that power is innate. That power is biologically set. we're able to do, but it's not going to come just out of thin air. There's a season for, let's say, trees to bloom, and for the leaves to fall, and for the leaves to grow back, and for the flowers to bloom, and so on and so forth. And sometimes we want to look at our bodies that way. Okay, well, like, why aren't we healing automatically? Like my scratch on my arm, like this healed automatically, or the mosquito bite on my leg, it healed automatically without me having to do anything. And I get your understanding of why you think that hair loss should just come out of nowhere just because, but it's a little different. And I teach this not just inside the program, but then also in my free training. So if you haven't seen the free training, I highly recommend that you sign up for it. You can do so at alopecia-𝐬𝐽.com. At the top bar, you'll see Hair and Heal. Go to the bottom and sign up for the wait list. And you will be waitlisted for this free training, but then also to be notified for the next program opening. And the thing about a cure, quote unquote, for alopecia is that it's going to be individualized. And because it is individualized and it's not a one size fits all, this means that no one pill, no one medication, no one serum, no one anything is going to work for everybody across the board. Does that make sense? Because how you heal a 5-year-old is going to look different how you heal a 55-year-old in menopause. Because the way you heal a 25-year-old is going to look different than healing the 45-year-old. It just looks so different for everybody. And then on top of it, we all have different layers to us, right? Where we live, where we come from, what we eat, what we don't eat, our lifestyles, etc. It all looks different. And so because of this, there is a cure, but it's not a one size fits all. And so what do I mean by that? If you have a headache, we can all take the same headache medicine, and lo and behold, it will all go away for all of us. Maybe for me in 10 minutes, maybe for you in an hour, maybe for somebody else in 30 minutes, but it will go away. And when it comes to alopecia, again, the medication is not the route. The natural way is the only way. And this is why it has to be a tailored approach. It has to be a customized approach. It's not a one size fits all. And this is what we offer inside the Hair and Heal program. And so yes, I do believe there is a cure. You can hear on the podcast interviews, the interviews and testimonials of past clients, but you could also see from me that even 9 years later, post alopecia, even after COVID, even after a pregnancy, even after stressful times, even after moves, even after deaths in the family, etc., alopecia is still nowhere to be found. And what I find quite interesting is that when I go to conferences to speak, is that the first thing people do, they look closely, right? They look closely at like my hairline to make sure that it's not a wig. And then you know what they also do? Here recently I was at a conference and I told somebody what I did for work, and she comes up and she grabs my hair from below, and she doesn't tug on it, but she runs her fingers through the bottom to make sure that it's not extensions or anything. I find this quite funny and comical in many ways because I'm not wearing a wig. You've seen my gray hairs. You've seen me color my hair on a regular basis. And if you haven't, follow me on Instagram and Facebook and you'll see me showing you my highlights every so often. And so this is it. It's not a wig, and I can have full and abundant hair, and so can you. It's not just for me, it's for everybody. This is something we can all obtain, just like we can all have a healthier body, just we can all have peace of mind, just like we can all have what we want in life. We just got to take action and grab it. So that was myth number 3. Doctors say there's no cure, and I believe there is because I'm living proof, and so are my clients. So yes, there is. It's just not a one size fits all. It's not going to be ABC serum or ABC vitamin or any hair mask, or let's say laser cap or derma roller or anything else that you want to put onto it like PRP. It's not going to be a one size fits all. And I tell you right now, all those things that I just mentioned don't work. So don't bother and don't waste your money on it. Myth number 4. You have no control over your hair loss because it's hormonal, or maybe it's because it's postpartum, or maybe it's because it's stress related, or maybe because it's part of its natural cycle and it's the seasonal time for hair loss. And I will say that this is a huge myth that many people like to believe, that many people like to think, and it's not true. It's not true because we have more control over our own hair loss, over our own hair growth, over our destiny, and it happens on a day-to-day basis. It really does. It happens on a day-to-day basis. So what you do today sets you for success for your future. So for example, in corporate, you plan for each quarter. You plan for quarter 1, Q2, Q3, Q4. You plan for the next year, for the 5-year plan, for the 10-year plan, and you plan out what's going to happen. And maybe even outside of corporate, if you were doing this same type of exercise, you would have done this maybe in college, maybe you would have done this in high school, maybe you would have done this because someone is pushing you to think down the road bigger. What do you want to do? You want to get a master's degree? You want to go to law school? Do you want to go study abroad? What do you want to do, right? And so you start putting these goals or ideas to pen and paper. And just like we plan out our life, we can also plan out what we're going to do, how we're going to grow our hair, how it's going to come back, and all these other goals that we have, including better health, including lower blood pressure or less risk for heart disease or less risk for cancer, etc. We can have these as goals and enjoy life at a better pace and be happier because we are in control of everything. And so when you take back your power and you have control, you set the stage for you to succeed. No one else is at fault but you. Let me say that again. No one is at fault but you. And I want to say this in a gentle but somewhat like tough love type of manner, because when I look back at my own alopecia situation, if I would have been told that, hey, you did this to yourself, it would have been true, but it would have been a hard pill to swallow. So if this is you, let me just tell you that I say this with love, with lots of love. And many times we don't know what we're doing wrong. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And many times we need to pause and take a step back to reevaluate what's happening in order to not commit the same mistakes, right? In order to not have the hair loss come back, in order not to be in this dark space again, in order not to be in a black hole of uncertainty. This is why I encourage you to take your control back, your power back, because once you do, then guess what? You understand your blind spots, you understand your triggers, you understand exactly what's happening so that you don't go back to alopecia. Doesn't matter whether it's traction, scarring, autoimmune, or 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢𝐻 effluvium, diffuse, androgenic, female pattern, blah. And I gotta say, for the people who have female pattern, androgenic, these sector of people, these category of people like to say, oh, I have androgenic, it came from my mom. I have androgenic female pattern, it came from my dad. It came from here, it came from there. We need to stop pointing fingers of how it came from and start taking responsibility of, okay, I have this, what can I do? Where can I go? Who's seen results? Who can help me get to where I want to get to? Because I gotta tell you, that's how most people who have a problem, that's how they solve it. For example, if I have a pest ruining my bush garden of roses, I'm gonna go to an expert gardener who knows and understands roses for my area, for the climate, for the temperature, and to help me what to do. And with that advice, then I'm gonna go and implement it, take action, and then see the results of how my roses heal from this little pest that is inundating them, right? And then the same thing can go for hair loss. The same thing can go for anything we want to achieve. So if you want to do a triathlon, if you want to swim from Florida to Cuba, if you want to fly an airplane on your own or navigate a boat and sail around the world by yourself, like we need to learn from the people who've been there, done that. Does that make sense? And so any problem you have in life, somebody already has a solution for it, 100%. They already have a solution for it, more than likely. And so because of that, we need to lean on others. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel. So again, myth number 4, you have more control over what you think is possible for you and your health, right? The myth is that people are saying, oh, you have no control of your hair loss. It's because of XYZ situation. It's because of your other health problems. It's because of your other autoimmune issues. It's because of this. It's because of that. And that's baloney. That's not correct. All of that is untrue. And I say that because I've had clients who are done with chemo who see hair growth on the program. I have clients who've been through thyroid cancer, who've been through different types of cancer, healed and fixed their cancers, and then they come to me with alopecia, whether it's autoimmune or other, and they fix that too. And whether you're breastfeeding, you can still see hair growth. Whether you are a cancer survivor, you can see hair growth. Whether you have hair loss and various autoimmune diseases, you can still see hair growth, even though your hair loss is not autoimmune. Does that make sense? I've had numerous clients, hundreds of clients who've had, let's say, female pattern or diffuse or just like straight clumps of hair coming out all over, hair loss, 𝐬𝐿 effluvium, but it's not autoimmune. It's not the patchy type. But they have Crohn's instead. But they have lupus instead. But they have Hashimoto's, or they have a different type of hair loss and health conditions, and that still can be helped. And I've done that with so many of my clients. And so it doesn't matter really. It's all going to be tailored to you. And the thing is, it's never going to look the same, because even if you, me, your mom, your sister, and your aunt all had the same type of hair loss, let's say we all had the same autoimmune, let's say, we would all look very different, diet and lifestyle, and other ancestry type of medical history, right? Our medical history for all of us would look so different, even if we all had the same type of hair loss. So that's how it has to be tailored. It has to be looked upon each person individually. And that's the only way to heal. That really is the only way. So it's not clear cut. Everyone autoimmune, you got to do this. Everyone female pattern, you got to do this. That's not how that works. You have to look at the other situations, if that makes sense. So myth number 5, you have androgenic alopecia, which is female pattern, and your only option is minoxidil, or your only option is DHT blockers, or your only option is saw palmetto, or your only option is the latest gimmick out there, which would be medications, laser caps, PRP, etc. And that's not true. You can actually heal and reverse androgenic alopecia. And I've had numerous clients do that. And even though many people like to fight for their limitations and say, oh no, this is a genetic disorder. I've been having this for 20 years, since I'm 19, since I'm 29, since the birth of my son. No, you can actually heal and reverse this again, but it's got to be tuned up and tweaked for you. And it doesn't matter what type of hair loss, it's just got to be looked at for you so that we can make the improvements for you, for your situation. It's much more than just your hair loss type. This is why the beauty market is inundated with quick fixes, because none of these quick fixes work. And it's really hard to look through them all and to see exactly for what it is. But this is where we clear up the noise and the misinformation and the nonsense, because I want you to see the hair growth that you deserve and that you want. And so it's really quite simple. You just need to take action, follow the steps that I lay out in the program, and boom, you'll be seeing your hair growth. The last myth is that you need medications to heal. And you don't need medications to heal. And this is for any type of hair loss. The medications are mere band-aids. The medications have numerous side effects. Anything from suicide ideation to erectile dysfunction to fertility issues to black box warnings and so much more. Medication is not something I would recommend for hair loss. It's not something that I would recommend at all for any age of hair loss. There is a natural way, and that way is benefiting you on so many other levels, more so than what any medication can render for you for hair loss. Now, do I believe in medication in general for other things? Absolutely, absolutely. But for hair loss in particular, it's not beneficial, it's not worth it, and it's only going to create more havoc in the long run. I've spoken to people, I've had the luxury and the opportunity and the honor to speak to so many people, hundreds and thousands of people who've already been 30 years on minoxidil, who've already been trying finasteride, who've already been on Propecia, who've already been, and I can see the regret, and I can hear their stories, and I can talk to them one-on-one. And I gotta tell you, I have more time for people, clients and non-clients, than probably any doctor. I have lots of time for them. And this is the beauty of it, is that when you get to hear people's stories, they regret being 20, 30 years on minoxidil because it stops working, it backfires, and then on top of it, here recently I spoke to somebody and he was telling me how much in debt his family was because of the alopecia meds. He was telling me how much that was crushing their budgets and their well-being financially because of the meds, because of the medications. And this is a situation that is very precarious because it's a slippery slope, right? We think we need meds to keep going, and yet it's only putting us at a lower and a lower situation. It's digging the hole deeper and deeper, and then the hole gets so big and so deep that we think that there's no way out. I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. There is, but we need to let go and move forward into a natural way that's only going to benefit you in the long run, that's only going to make you a better person, healthier mind, body, spirit, emotionally, mentally, physically, for the long run. It's a long-term strategy for a long-term life of health and hair, because that's what I want. I want to be 99, 110, whatever the age is, with a full head of hair. I idolize the big hair ladies like Diana Ross, Mariah Carey, big hair. I love the big hair, and I don't want that to go away for me. I don't want that to go away for you. Whether or not you like the big hair or not, that's totally different. But you can have your hair. You can have the hair growth. You can have your health. You can have anything you want. Again, it's empowering. It's taking control back, taking action, and following the program. That's what this is all about. I hope that this podcast episode has helped you see that these myths circulate, and that these myths do nothing except but limit you, what you think is possible for you. And so I'm always trying to shine a light on what is possible and trying to be an inspiration. Maybe you've heard my story, but there's so many other stories out there. And so I'm doing my best to bring them forth to light, and also look back. You can look on the website, alopecia-𝐬𝐵.com, look on the success stories. You can see before and after pictures and numerous testimonials that are constantly updated. I'd love to have you rate and review this podcast so that more and more people can hear about the opportunity to heal, and so they can also understand that it is possible to heal. Because the thing is, if we don't get the word out, people are going to be in a situation where they're going to feel stuck, lonely, isolated, struggling with the limited options and also the limited thinking that comes from their own environment, or that comes from their own doctors, or that comes from their own situation. And there's a better option. There always is. We just need to look for it. And so please help me get the word out. Share this podcast episode with friends and family. Share it with somebody that you know who's dealing with alopecia or any type of hair loss, even if it's just postpartum. They don't have to go through it. You can mitigate that. You can mitigate so many things in life. It's just you don't know until. Does that make sense? And so again, it's just like only now that I know, this is where it's like I want to share the wealth with everybody. So I hope this helps. And please share the podcast, rate and review, give us 5 stars, and let's let the world know that they can heal their alopecia. Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Alopecia Angel podcast, a positive light in healing alopecia. You can do this, and we can help. Spread the word that reversing alopecia is possible by telling your friends and family.